Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parveen. Friends, in every competitive exam, including our teacher recruitment exams, we can expect minimum 2 to 3 questions from one particular chapter, and that chapter is number system. So aspirants keep requesting us to take more classes on number system. So that's why in today's class we will be sharing with you most important short tricks and tips along with most expected multiple choice questions that can be expected in exams like Karnataka TET and other teacher recruitment exams like HSTR, GPSTR, TGT, PGT, CRIS and all other exams as well. So friends, this class is going to be very interesting and very useful to all of you because the multiple choice questions which we will be discussing in this class are simple but very interesting, and they can be solved just in few seconds, and you can grab marks for sure by giving the correct answer to these type of questions. And the questions are such that in case you don't know about the short tricks or tips which we'll be giving in this video, in that case you will not be able to answer these questions quickly, or you will not be able to answer these questions correctly also. So that's why this video is a gem for all the teacher recruitment aspirants out there, because this is a chapter which is very important to all the competitive exams including teacher recruitment. So quickly, let us start this very useful class. Before going to multiple choice questions, I want to give you some very important facts related to number system. And the first fact is that all natural numbers are whole numbers. What are natural numbers? Numbers starting from 1, 1, 2, 3 and so on. All these come under natural numbers. But if you write 0 along with that, then that group becomes whole numbers. The difference between natural numbers and whole numbers is that 0 is included in whole numbers and 0 is not there in natural numbers. Okay. Then the second fact, all whole numbers are not natural numbers because of the 0. Because 0 is a whole number but it is not a natural number. And the smallest prime number is 2. Not only that, 2 is also the only even prime number. You will not find any other even prime number in our entire list of numbers except 2. So 2 is the smallest prime number and it is also the only even prime number. What about the first odd prime number? It is 3, right? Why do we say that only 2 is the even prime number in all the numbers? Because all other even numbers like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, all those are divisible by 2. So that's why all those numbers come under composite numbers. You should be understanding the difference now. Because basically, what is a prime number? The number which cannot be divided by any other number is a prime number. And the number which can be divisible by any other number is a composite number. Okay. Now let's talk about some important rules of even and odd numbers. See, when we talk about addition and subtraction, if you add two even numbers, then your answer will be an even number, right? I'm giving you examples also. If you want, you can note them and try by yourself also. 14 plus 28 is going to be 42. 14 and 28 are even numbers and the answer 42 is also a even number. Like that only, if you add two odd numbers, your answer is going to be even number. Yes, very interesting, right? You can do it by yourself and see. Then when you add a even number and a odd number, your answer is going to be a odd number. Very simple, right? See, if I take very small numbers, 2 is a even number, right? If you add 1, which is a odd number, what should your answer be? It should be a odd number. Obviously, you will get 3, right? Which is a odd number. If you subtract 2 even numbers, obviously your answer is going to be a even number. If you subtract 2 odd numbers, also answer is going to be a even number. Don't get confused. It is very simple logic, right? Do it by yourself. Okay? These are the facts actually. If you subtract even number and a odd number, your answer is going to be a odd number. If you subtract odd number and even number, then also your answer is going to be a odd number. So basically, if you have same things like 2 evens are there, 2 odds are there, 2 evens are there, 2 odds are there. Then your answer is going to be even. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, same even, 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 odd, odd, even. Same thing should be there. Even, 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 odd, odd, even. Rest other cases. What are the rest other cases? When there are two different things. Even, odd, odd will be there. Even, odd, odd will be there. Odd, even, odd will be there. Clear, right? So if there are even and even numbers, either you add or subtract, your answer is going to be even. If there are odd and odd numbers, either you add or subtract, your answer is going to be even. Rest other case, your answer is going to be odd. Right? These are very simple logics which you must have not thought of before. So this is very simple, right? Like that only, if we talk about numbers, when you do multiplication, what is going to happen? When you multiply two even numbers, obviously your answer should be even. And if you multiply two odd numbers, your answer should be odd only. This is not like the case in the addition. If you multiply even and odd, then your answer will be even only. Okay? Why? Because you are multiplying here. Right? When you multiply even and even, your answer should be even only. But when you multiply odd and odd, even cannot come into picture, right? That's why in multiplication, answer will be odd. While even and odd, if you multiply, your answer will be even, where even will be dominating. This way you can remember the correct fact. Okay. Apart from all of this, what is more important means, if there is any product which is involving at least one even number, then your result will be even. Because even number is a dominant number. This way you can remember. Just to remember, I am telling that even number is dominating. The way we say that truth always triumphs. If you think of even number as a truth, then it is going to win, right? The person who is always going on the right path will always win when you compare with the person who is going on the wrong path. For instance, if you think that even is a good person and odd is a bad person, then the good person should always win. That is what happens in multiplication. Okay, clear, right? So let us see the first question. If x and y are odd positive integers, which one is not an odd number? So the question is, which one is not an odd number? See, actually, if you add two odd numbers, your answer should be even, right? So if you write even to the power of any number, then also your answer should be even, right? See, if you add two numbers, your answer is even only, right? But if you have a number, any even number, to the power any other number, then also your answer should be even only, right? So this any number can be odd also, it can be even also. See, for example, 1 plus 1. Both are odd numbers, right? Our answer will be 2, right? Now this 2, if I raise to the power 1 also, I will get a even number. If I raise to the power 2 also, I will get a even number only. So any number, if I raise to the power of a even number, my answer is going to be a even number only. Okay. So now the question is, if x and y are odd positive integers, which one is not an odd number? So I should have a even number in the bracket. Then my answer will be even if any number is raised to the power of that number, right? And that is there in only option C. Because here x and y are both odd numbers. Now if these two numbers are odd and if I add it, I will get a even number. And any number raised to the power of even number is a even number, right? Which is not a odd number. Even number means it is not a odd number. Rest other things will give you odd number. Option A will give you odd number. Option B will give you odd number. Option D will give you odd number. Only option C is there which is giving you an even number which is not a odd number. Of course, option 5 is also there. Option E, none of the above. So they are telling that maybe from this time in competitive exams, this option E will also come, none of the above. So you need to make up your mind with this option also. Okay. So let us now move to the second most important and expected question. The question is 91 plus 92 plus 93 till 110 is equal to. This actually looks like a arithmetic progression, AP, right? What is the full form of AP? Arithmetic progression. It is not Andhra Pradesh or it is not Atahar Parveen, okay? It is arithmetic progression. So, in arithmetic progression, if you see the sequence given here, the first term is 91 and the last term is 110. But also, this 91, 92, 93 and so on, these are also consecutive numbers, right? So in order to find sum of consecutive numbers, there is one formula. Number of terms into average of first and last terms. So here, this sum of consecutive numbers is Sn. Number of terms into average of first and last terms. What is number of terms here? See, from 91 till 110. How many numbers will be there? If you add up, there will be 20 terms, right? So that is our number of terms here. Okay, that number of terms into average of first and last term. This is the formula. So you have to substitute n is equal to 20 and a is 91, L is 110 by 2. You will get answer 2010. This is our final answer here. But in case you don't know this formula, then I have a short trick for you. The short trick is that from 91 the numbers are starting, right? And they are ending till 110, right? So before 91 we had numbers till 90, right? So that's why in order to find the sum of these consecutive numbers, I can just do summation of 110, means from 0 till 110 I am taking summation and I am subtracting the rest of the 90s numbers which are not there in the question, right? Summation of 110 minus summation of 90. So this is going to give you, see, 110 into the rest of the numbers, 111 by 2 minus 90 into the rest of the numbers, 91 by 2, right? So this is going to give us 2 1s are 2 5s are 2 5s are 55 into 111 minus 2 1s are 2 45s are 45 into 91. So this is going to give us 6105 minus 4095. This is equal to 2010. This is also our final answer only, right? But here we did not use any formula. We just used a simple concept that the full numbers till 110 minus the numbers which are not there in the question. See here, actually summation of n is nothing but n into n plus 1 by 2. So this is the sum of n consecutive numbers. So this is the formula which we are applying here. But this is a very simple and basic formula. You should be already knowing. See, if it is summation of 110, then it will be 110 into 110 plus 1 by 2. So this is going to be 110 into 111 by 2. So this is a very simple and basic thing which you should be knowing only. Okay, this is we call as a sum of n natural numbers. Okay, so this way without using formulae also you can find out the correct answer. I have shown you 2 ways of finding the correct answer to this question. It is up to you which is easy you can take. Okay. Which smallest number must be added to 100 so that the resulting number is completely divisible by 6? It should be completely divisible by 6. Okay, there can be many other ways to answer this question, but I am giving you the most shortest and easiest possible way. Okay, so you take 100, you divide it by 6 first. So you get 6 1s are 6 and 4 is there. This 0 will come out here and 6 6 are 36. So what is remaining now? 4, right? So our quotient is 16 and our remainder is 4. But if the number is to be completely divisible by 6, in that scenario, our remainder should be 0. Right? for our remainder should be 0, this 4 also should be included there only, right? Inside that 100 only, right? So for that, what you have to do? See, simple thing. I want this 4 also to be divisible by 6. For that, you add something or you subtract something. What is that? It should be plus 2 only, right? So if I add plus 2 to 4, I will get 6, which is completely divisible by 6. And my quotient will be 1 with remainder 0. So that 2 I will add to this 100. So if I add 2 to that 100, then my number will be 102, which if I divide by 6, it will be completely divisible by 17 and remainder will be 0. So it is very simple, right? 6 into 16 is going to be 100 with a remainder 4. Then if I have the next number, it can be 102 with remainder 0. For that, I should add plus 2 to this 100, right? So my answer is option A here. Very simple logic, right? I have tried to explain you in a simple manner. Now you should tell me whether you understood this trick or no in the comment section, okay? Next question. How many 3-digit numbers are completely divisible by 4? See, first try to understand here what they are telling. How many 3-digit numbers are completely divisible by 4? So what is the smallest 3-digit number? We know it is 100, right? Like that only, what is the largest 3-digit number which we know? It is 999, right? But we need numbers divisible by 4. That too completely divisible by 4. So the numbers completely divisible by 4 in this range. If you see, first number which is divisible by 4. In this range, it should be 100, right? And the last number which should be divisible by 4 in this range, it should be 996, right? Because that number should be less than 999. So first number which is less than 999 is 996 only, right? Now I know what is the first number of the series and I know what is the last number of the series. In this situation, I have this formula. N is equal to last term minus first term by D plus 1. What is D? This 4. This is our D. Okay, the common difference we can say. So N is equals to last term minus first term by D plus 1. Just substitute. You will get answer 225. That option B will be our correct answer here. But I have a short trick for you also. Because if you don't know the formula and that situation, what you have to do? So the short trick is that you have to count the number of divisible numbers like this. Last digit by D minus first digit minus 1 by D. So our last digit is 999. Our D is 4 now. We know, right? Minus first digit is 100, right? Minus 1 by 4, right? So this is going to be 999 by 4 minus 99 by 4. So this is going to give us the correct answer. 249 minus 24. It will be 225 again. So you have two methods to solve this question again, right? So it is up to you which you feel is easy. See, now because I am explaining, I am taking little time to explain. If you practice this again and again, you will be used to these type of methods of solving the problems. Okay. Next question. What is the largest 2-digit number which when divided by 6 and 5 leaves remainder 1 in each case? So here they have given you 4 options. You have to find out the largest 2-digit number when it is divided by 6 and 5. Every time the remainder is 1 only. So here if a number leaves remainder R with divisors A and B, then your N is going to be the LCM of AB into K plus R. Please don't get scared by seeing this formula. It is just written for your reference. I will explain it to you now. Okay. See, actually, there are two numbers which is given in the question, right? What are those two numbers? 6 and 5, right? Take the LCM of these two numbers. if you take the LCM, your LCM is going to be 30, right? You should multiply it with some number that we call it as k, and if you add 1, it should give you the largest 2-digit number, which when divided by 6 and 5 will leave remainder 1, right? Now, see for option A, you have a 61, right? So, if you multiply 30 with 2 and if you add this one, you will get a 61. See for option B, is it possible 30 into you multiply something and you add 1, will you get 93? No, you can't get 93. See for option C, 30 into, yes, if you multiply with 3 and if you add 1, you will get 91, right? And for option D, it is not possible again. Now we have two numbers, 61 and 91, which are the 2-digit numbers, which when divided by 6 and 5 are leaving remainder 1. But in the question, they have asked largest 2-digit number. So that's why option C is the correct answer, because 91 is the largest here. Okay, clear, right? Simple thing, right? So this formula is nothing but our LCM of 6 and 5. You multiplied with some number and you added with the remainder. So this is our 30. You multiplied with a number and you added with the remainder. We got 91 if you multiply it with 3. Okay, clear, right? Next question. The sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is always divisible by, and the options are 3, 9, 15, 21. So the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers, it is always divisible by. So the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers, they are telling. What are the 3 consecutive odd numbers? You should know it first of all, right? X, then you have x plus 2, then you have x plus 4. These are the consecutive odd numbers, right? We have to add them because they are telling sum x plus 2 plus x plus 4. So this is going to give us a 3x plus 6. We have to find out that the numbers, if the sum of these 3 consecutive odd numbers, always it is divisible by one number, which is that number in the options. So this way I can write 3 into x plus 2, right? Because 3 is the common number which came out here. Inside any number can be there here, right? So that's why our answer is 3. Next, this is also most important question. What minimum value should be assigned to star so that 2361 star 48 is exactly divisible by 9? So here you should understand that there is divisibility rule for every number, right? Like that only for 9, it is that sum of the digits must be divisible by 9. So given numbers, you have to take individual numbers and add them up. If you add up, you will get 24 plus that unknown star. Okay, now you have to check the divisibility criteria. If that star is 3, see what numbers I will take and check means I will take the options. I will take the options and check. That's all, right? So if that star is 3, then 24 plus 3 is going to be 27, which will be divisible by 9. If it is 2, no, it is not divisible by 9. If it is 9, then also not. If it is 4, then also not, right? So if it is 3 only, it is divisible by 9. So option B will be the correct answer here. So basically 2361 star 48 will be divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits of the given number is divisible by 9. Okay, so 24 plus star is divisible by 9, and that is possible only if that star is 3. Another question. What is the sum of the squares of the digits from 1 to 9? They are directly telling 1 to 9, right? So 1 square plus 2 square, because they are telling squares, sum of the squares of the digits, right? So just 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square till 9 square. We have this formula for sum of squares. That is this formula, n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Just substitute and get the answer. Okay, so here correct answer will be 285. Actually this type there are many formulas. I am going to give you the list here. If the sum of first n natural numbers, you have to find n into n plus 1 by 2. I told you about that summation n in one of the problem, right? Summation 110 we took there, right? So this is the formula. Sum of n odd numbers, n square. Sum of squares of first n natural numbers, this is the formula. Sum of the squares of first n odd numbers, this is the formula. Sum of the squares of first n even numbers, this is the formula. Sum of cubes of first n natural numbers. Sum of cubes of first n odd natural numbers. Sum of cubes of first n even natural numbers. Okay. Take the screenshot or write it down by yourself by pausing the video. One question compulsorily you will get from any of this formula. Okay, the starting formulas are only important formulas. Rest formulas are for next level questions, but you never know, they can ask even next level question in the exams this time. Okay. This is a very interesting question. A positive number which when added to 1000. So let that number be x. Okay. This number x is added to 1000. A positive number which when added to x gives the sum greater than when it is multiplied by 100. So that x only if it is multiplied by 100, then this sum will be greater than this itself. Then what is the number? So what is that number x is the question now, right? So this is very much clear, right? See, when is this situation possible? 1000 plus x should be greater than 100 into that x. You write any number here, it is going to be ulta only, right? Except one number which is x is equal to 1. Right? See, if you want, you can check. 1000 plus 1 is greater than 100 into 1. So this is only possible. What about 2? 1000 plus 2 greater than 100 into 2. Yes, it is possible, right? But it is not there in the option. See, other options that are not at all valid here, right? So that's why option A will be the correct answer here. Okay. Next, this is the last and the most important question of this class. In a division sum, the remainder was 71. With the same divisor but twice the dividend, the remainder is 43. Which one of the following is the divisor? See, understand the question. In a divisor sum, the remainder was 71. With the same divisor but twice the dividend, the remainder is 43. Which one of the following is the divisor? Friends, in this type of question, no, simply you can use this formula. Divisor is equal to 2 into first remainder minus second remainder. Why 2 means here in the question they are given twice the dividend, right? So that's why 2. If thrice means write 3 there. That's all. Okay. So divisor here will be equal to 2 into what is the first remainder? 71. And what is the second remainder? 43. Right? That's it. 2 into 71 minus 43. So that is going to be 142 minus 43. So our answer will be 99. Option C will be the correct answer here. Okay friends, on the same lines, I have this question for you. This is a assignment. I want you to answer the question given here in the comment section. So I really hope that this class helped you with all types of questions, variety of questions with short tricks also. So if you want more classes like this, please write down in the comment section and share this video among other teacher recruitment exam aspirants. Okay, thank you. All the best. Bye.